Some of the best moments from video games come from absolutely epic bosses, but there are bosses I don't think I would have been mad if I hadn't come across, whether they're difficult, a waste of time, or even just plain gross. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on GameRanq's 20 secret bosses we wish we never found. Starting off at number 20 is the Amon clan. They just don't give up. Joe Amon, his various family members, they keep reappearing as secret final bosses in the Yakuza games. You have to fight a whole horde of Amon brothers. They want to kill Kiryu Kazuma before his cancer diagnosis, so they're back for one final battle. The brothers are found at the bottom of the Yokohama Underground EX dungeon, and Joe Amon actually appears much earlier in the game as an unbeatable boss. But just one Amon isn't that scary. You'll need to fight 4 of them at the same time in this secret fight, and that's easily the toughest boss battle in the game. One ultimate assassin isn't enough, because this isn't a brawler anymore. You can't rely on brawler tactics to cheese your way to victory. Instead, you have to deal with a constant barrage of damage on all your characters and time all your guards perfectly.
You're all This is no way to fight.
You'll still take damage, it's just a little less damage. The Amons pick your weakest characters, so you'll need to do the same to them. These guys are so tough they can KO whatever character they like per turn, unleashing relentless beatdowns you won't be able to block between barrages of machine gun fire. They're brutally difficult. They're also kind of a joke, to be frank. Kiryu always wins canonically, but do we have to fight these guys for over an hour to prove it? At number 19 is the Scorpion Lord from Black Myth Wukong. The Scorpion Lord might be the toughest boss in a game that is overflowing with bosses. Like, this game has, if there's a game with too many boss fights, it's Black Myth Wukong. I'm not sure I would go as far to say as it does have too many, but there's a boss every 5 steps in this game. They do get progressively easier the further you get into the game, and that makes the obnoxiously evil Scorpion Lord a bit of a shock to the system when he appears in the Purple Cloud Mountain area. Uses big gold claw to absolutely wreck your Monkey King. He can kill in just a handful of attacks and unleashes so many attack patterns that get difficult to memorize. If you don't learn his attacks, you can't beat him. Plain and simple. Naturally, he's also a giant janky monster that can grab you out of nowhere with a broken hitbox. You can stand a mile away, but that doesn't stop his grab attack from snapping you up, dealing lethal damage and tossing your little guy away. His claw punch attack, it's a total crapshoot to block or dodge, but maybe I'm just bitter. I don't know. The boss is totally optional. You don't need to fight him in his little lair. You can walk right past him, ignore him, and unlock the secret true ending by fighting the much, much easier end of level boss. At number 18 is Culex 3D from the Super Mario RPG remake. When we were tiny babies, beating Culex in Super Mario RPG was a rite of passage. Nintendo must have known that because the original Culex, like everything else in Super Mario RPG, is really easy. The remake on Nintendo Switch, however, changes all that by adding a new series of post-game bosses to the mix, and these guys are legitimately hard. It isn't enough to time your guards so you take less damage. Instead, you have to use a technique that's almost like a secret in the old game, Perfect Guard. The newer remake adds better visual cues that make Perfect Guards easier, but they also make this difficult to time trick required. Almost all the post-game bosses can defeat Mario and his friends in a single hit. Culex 3D, same. After defeating all the post-game bosses and beating up Culex in his hidden room, there's a second souped-up version of the boss, no longer trapped in 2D. This Culex is fully 3D, and joined by 4 crystals that bombard your party with status effects, attacks, other problems, just stuff. There's a lot. Culex himself attacks multiple times per turn and unleashes insta-death spells on your entire party. You'll have to guard against that one, or you'll be knocked out of this very long fight. Sometimes you'll perform that attack multiple times in a turn. Yeah, honestly, it's for the best, because that spell that randomly inflicts every status ailment all the time is way, way worse. Yeah, the insta-death one's better. You heard me. There's also some cruel mechanics, like his meteor spell that always leave your party members with 1 HP, only if they're fully healed, might I add. If they're missing even a single health point, it's game over. Why are we making the baby game this difficult? And number 17 is Dragon Lord Placidusax. The true toughest secret boss in Elden Ring isn't Melania, even if she is extremely hard. Not saying she's not. There's a reason nobody talks about Placidusux. First of all, I hate saying his name. I do not know if I'm saying it correct. I think I'm saying it correct. But if you get mad at me for not saying it correct, I don't care. All right? Anyway, to find Dragon Lord Flaccid Dick Sucks, you gotta reach the crumbling Farum Azula dungeon at the very end of the game. From a floating ruined church, there's a small grassy area with more floating platforms far below. It looks like a pointless dead end, but your Tarnish can drop down and check out the weird gravestones. One is open with bones inside, and choosing to lie down causes your little guy to teleport straight to the Dragon Lord's arena. It's just the sort of thing that happens in Dark Souls games. Don't try to figure it out. Anyway, Flaccid Dick Sucks is the end-all be-all of giant dragon fights. He's a huge three-headed dragon that uses his own signature red lightning bolts to attack, transforming into mist and attacking from unexpected angles. In his second form, he just goes totally nuts. Throws random lightning bolts, mist, storm clouds, and whatever else it can summon and take you down. It's a grueling boss fight, one of the most grueling in the entire series, and a true test of your willingness to suffer. We found the boss, so we have to fight it. That's I guess, the rules. There's no other way. And number 16 is the Valkyrie Queen Na. The Valkyries are back in God of War Ragnarok. Infamously hard post-game bosses. Sigrun, the Valkyrie Queen from God of War 2018, kicked our collective butts over and over again. But she's got nothing on this one. Also available in the post-game, Na is camping in Muspelheim and is very unhappy at Kratos. Na is easily the toughest boss in the game, which is saying a lot. Like the other followers of Odin, she can imbue her attacks with Bifrost, which builds up additional damage. If you get hit by Bifrost, you're going to die pretty quickly unless Kratos clears it off his health bar. She has a wide range of combos and attacks that need to be countered, blocked, or dodged as well. Haha, fun, right? Her grapple attack can kill Kratos instantly if he doesn't have enough health. She can also fly into the skip and slam down several times. If you don't want to get bonked, you got to dodge. What else is there to say about this? But she's Sigrun from the first game on steroids. She'll just keep attacking, dodging, and parrying your attacks until you're worn down. And of course, we had to beat her. Unlike most of the bosses on this list, she's actually not too difficult to find, but the fight itself is optional for a reason. Even if you turn the difficulty down, it's not much easier. You got to tap into your Kratos energy and go full old school God of War on this one. At number 15 is Eliana, the Starved from Lords of the Fallen, a game that isn't good enough to have a boss this hard, and the second attempt at making a true Dark Souls equal misses the mark in a lot of ways. It does capture the essence of Dark Souls in one very specific way. You have to completely screw yourself over to get one of its endings. If you want to fight the hardest boss in the game, you got to sacrifice a bunch of your NPC friends, including the blacksmith that lets you upgrade weapons. So yeah, say goodbye to getting stronger or even leveling up, because you have to kill your Firekeeper equivalent too. If you're not careful, following the path to fight Eliana, the Starved, can permanently trap you in an unwinnable scenario. We don't see that much in video games, but it's here. She's so freaking tough too. It's easy to imagine a world where the player has to reset their entire 50-hour run from the beginning to take this one on. What makes this demonic boss truly heinous? And yes, I think that the old school pronunciation of the word heinous it's necessary here. It's her ability to create a copy of herself. Instead of sticking around to fight with her shadow, she flies away, shoots magic at you off screen, out of your field of view, forcing you to basically dodge randomly and pray you don't get hit, all while fighting her clone and trying to kill her quickly so you can fight the real boss in the brief window where she isn't summoning a second clone and attacking you while flying around the arena. It's an evil boss in every way, and well, we're glad we fought it. We're thinking you'll be better off just skipping this one. At number 14 is Emil in Nier Automata. Most heartbreaking boss on this list. This weird-faced monster boy from the original Nier returns as a helpful NPC vendor in Nier Automata, but doesn't do much else in the story. He's a little guy, he's kind of ugly, and it's kind of cute to that kind of ugly. Obviously, fans of the first game are going to be hyper seeing him, you know? Oh, wow, he's kicking around after being transformed into being a liquid weapon, or a living weapon, not a liquid one. Oh, that might be cool too. Didn't happen. You can't have Emil without a little trauma, though, and this boss fight adds a lot of context to Emil's story. After upgrading all your weapons, which takes way more work than it sounds, and listening to all of Emil's memories, the weird little guy it's only a head at this point, escapes his home, reappears in the sandy desert, and on the dunes you'll find a swarm of giant discarded Emil heads. These are his remaining clones, the giant weapons that fought in countless wars in the years between Nier and Automata.
Magical elements have a high probability of penetrating all defense systems. Proposal: evade.
It's not that easy, you dumbass!
The clones have all lost Emil's original personality, brutally attacking anything and everything. They link together into a bizarre centipede. Doesn't matter how much you attack them. Only the original Emil can deal with them. The fight isn't that tough for how many times you'll need to play through the story just to reach him. The worst part is that Emil and his little vendor song are permanently gone after this boss fight. And number 13 is Morgan Freeman from South Park, The Fractured Butthole. Yeah, I'm just going to say it the right way. The weirdest boss on this list is both a secret and a real person. Morgan Freeman is a secret boss in The Fractured Butthole, and you can only fight him by tempting fate. You'll find Mr. Freeman and his silky voice in the taco shop. He'll even warn you, don't mess with the Almighty. Kicking him 3 times begins the toughest battle in the game, though. Look, if you can do something in a video game, we're going to do it, whether it's a good idea or not. It's not a good idea. Our man has 9,999 HP and an epic boss theme. Also, the Fart Master. His burritos generate giant explosions of flatulence that cover 6 squares at a time and deal extreme damage to your teammates. Morgan Freeman also summons minions to help him during the fight, and they've got surprisingly large health pools as well. No reason to fight this guy. There's none. He didn't do anything to you. He's just a beloved actor. I don't know why he's even in the game.
Just watch the collateral damage. You hear me, new kid?
They're barely even trying to impersonate his voice. I mean, a lot of that is the charm of Matt Stone and Trey Parker. They kind of don't care a lot if the person sounds exactly like the person. But yeah, we never even knew about this boss fight. After finding out, we had to waste hours of our lives defeating him, though. At number 12 is Sans from Undertale, one of the most infamously difficult bosses in indie games. A funny little skeleton guy. Isn't just an interesting visual, he's also got one of the best tracks in Undertale. The Megalovania boss music is it's probably the most iconic of the game. And it's all for a hidden boss most players are never going to fight on their own. Good reason, too. To fight Sans in Undertale, you have to go up against everything in the game. It all tells you something, and you have to ignore all of it. You have to ignore it, play it like a standard RPG, kill all the enemies, collect weapons. Instead of making friends with everyone like you're supposed to do in the game, you got to take the creepypasta route, kill the friendly monsters. It kind of sucks. It feels bad to do, in all honesty. And Sans is the real final boss of this path. Normally, you'll never battle the lazy Sans in a boss fight. He's a comic relief character, but he'll unleash his hidden power to stop your murdering butt. Yep, your butt murders. Anyway, this boss fight slaps you in the face and launches a barrage of difficult-to-dodge attacks at the player. Bumps up the tempo considerably, and, well, if you're not good at bullet hell, I don't know what you're going to do here. There's a lot of bullet hell. If you don't know how to dodge his very first attack, you're crushed right at the start, and he keeps breaking the rules, dodging all your attacks, and putting you in little auto-scrolling platformer stages. That's all before the real battle begins, too. If you refuse his last offer, he'll rapidly scroll through different attacks mid-sequence, flashing the screen black before moving into a different pattern before you even know what's going on. It's a boss fight you're not really meant to win. It's possible, plenty of players have done it, but the results are so cursed, I don't know why you'd want to. Moving on to number 11, the Sphinx in Dragon's Dogma 2. Nothing is simple in this game. The Sphinx is a hidden monster found deep in the mountains. Even finding his hiding spot's not easy, forcing you to trek through a haunted castle, a weird underground mine, and a breakable wall to finally stumble into its shrine. The Sphinx does exactly what the mythological creature would do and gives you 10 riddles to solve, each riddle more absurd than the previous. The last riddle shows you an NPC and asks you to find that NPC somewhere in the world. Not easy when every NPC has a unique look and there's hundreds of them with no easy way of fast travel. That's pretty devious, but actually fighting the Sphinx is more so. After solving all the riddles, you still don't get the giant key for the supersized gold chest in the final Sphinx location. To get that key, you gotta defeat the Sphinx. And if you go about it in the wrong way, you're going to lose your chance forever. You see, you can't simply attack the Sphinx anywhere on its body. Attacking the human parts will cause the Sphinx to just leave. It'll fly away, and it'll never come back. That's it. You're done. The only way to defeat the Sphinx is by attacking the wings or the animal hind legs. Basically, you can only attack the parts that aren't human. Unless you pay very close attention to every mural in the game, you'll never know this, and you'll probably ruin your chances at the biggest treasure in Dragon's Dogma 2. He's a boss we didn't know we could fight, and when we found out, it took too long to figure out the secret.
And number 10, it's Ogdo Bogdo or Ogdu Bog. Who cares? And then he's Spawn from Jedi Survivor. The biggest troll in recent video game history has got to be this game. Not the game itself, but this crap. Located in an enemy fortress, collecting a certain treasure leads to a drop into a pit where the spawn of Ogdo Boss, a big frog alien that's returning from the previous Star Wars Jedi game. Ogdo was one of the first bosses in the original game. Giant pain in the butt thanks to his weird hitbox and his tiny arena. Spawn of Ogdo, just as bad. Quick, help! I need something, buddy. Might actually even be worse. The developers took all the criticism of that boss and, well, did the Titus laugh from Final Fantasy X. They dumped unsuspecting players into a rematch against genuinely the worst boss in the game, and it goes from bad to worse. Defeating the spawn of Ogdo leads to another hidden boss, a memory you can access in your main village that transports you into a boss arena with spawn of Ogdo and his awful dad. So that's two terrible bosses for the price of one. It's definitely the most hidden boss in Jedi Survivor, and it's made specifically to trigger us, I think. Trying to make us angry, and it's working. The father and son frog team is worse than Vader and Palpatine combined. These dumb frogs shouldn't be that hard to beat, right? Oh, you thought your lightsaber could cut through anything? Try out these dumb frogs. It's intentionally humiliating. At number 9 is the Hierophant from the Triangle Strategy, a second true final boss of the game. After multiple playthroughs and replaying missions over and over to try to find the perfect path, you unlock the golden ending where all the threats against your kingdom are defeated in an improbable plan to save the continent. Only after trying every option will you find the hidden final ending path, and even after finding the right choices, you may not pick them in the correct order. This is one of the most difficult true endings we've seen in a long time. Ends in a cruel, struggling, evil final boss. The second mastermind is Idor. He powers himself up with magic before summoning a swarm of killer puppets. There's a main puppet that supports Idor and a smaller army of puppets that explode on contact when they approach. You need to focus on both the Hierophant puppet and Idor, because he'll keep summoning all his lackeys over and over as long as he's still alive.
I leave it to you.
It's the most difficult fight in the game and truly a monstrous opponent. Before this point in the story, you don't fight anything stranger than a knight flying a tiny dragon. Now you're battling godlike viziers and magically infused minions. It's a big change from everything else we've seen up till this point, and it takes literally dozens of extra gameplay hours to reach, even after you finish the game once. Enjoy your reward for all the hard work. A really difficult boss fight. More hard work. Moving on to number 8, it's the Shadow Blood Queen from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Too bad you can't level up when you're up against the Shadow Blood Queen. The final match of the surprisingly long and involved card game quest is the mythical queen herself. And if you have, if you don't have luck on your side, I think you've already lost this match. Yeah, a card game match is the closest thing to an ultimate battle you'll find in Rebirth. The Shadowblood Queen is so unfair, so overwhelmingly powerful with her broken card setup. There's just no simple way to counter her. All the rules of the game go out the window when you're fighting her. She gains +3 power for every enfeebled card on the table. She doesn't have to weaken your cards either. She places legendary cards and weakens herself, gaining power by multiplying all the bad status effects. If you don't have a deck built to counter these tricks, there's nothing you can do. Just rip your hair out, scream into a pillow, then rebuild your deck from scratch and start over. And number 7 is the Demon of Hatred from Sekiro, Dark Souls boss, right in the middle of Sekiro. The Demon of Hatred appears at the end of the game if you follow an alternate path toward the final boss. He's a totally optional giant demon that spreads fire everywhere and just goes completely nuts. Just the fact he isn't a swordsman or a human at all makes him a very different boss fight. Even the inhuman bosses like the Guardian Ape carried swords, the Demon of Hatred doesn't do any of that. He rolls around, lunges around the battlefield, blasts fire everywhere, makes him kind of like another boss on our list below, and like all these Dark Souls bosses, it takes forever to kill this guy. You'll need to wait for rare openings to even attack him, and don't try blocking the waves of fire he puts out. He's such a pain in the butt, but players learned a trick that could kill him instantly, and the trick still hasn't been patched out of the game. By climbing an unbreakable tower in the area and hopping onto the nearby wall, which you're not meant to reach, you can lure the Demon of Hatred off a ledge and to his own death. It's a totally optional boss that really doesn't give you a reward for beating it, and yet we're tempted to cheat to kill it anyway. And number 6 is the Great One from Lunacid. The weirdest secret boss on this list probably comes from this game. It's a weirdo indie title that emulates pre-Dark Souls hardcore RPGs like King's Field. You have to fall down a deep rabbit hole to find the hidden Great One boss fight. By following cryptic instructions and watching weird VHS tape and then finding every magic spell in the game, you'll alter the normal ending and battle the Great One instead of simply reawakening it. On the surface of the moon, you'll equip a sword and slash to the timing of the music. Yeah. By countering the Great One's attacks, you refill your meter and you'll eventually defeat it. Fight's not too difficult, but what happens after leaves us totally confused. After encountering the Great One, you're teleported to an infinite white space full of imperfect clones of yourself. I guess this is what you wanted a world to call your own. In the vast emptiness of the world, you find nothing. All you can do is die or say hello to the ugly blob monsters that live with you. Guess you're stuck here forever. That's definitely an ending. Maybe one we wish we didn't unlock, but an ending. And number 5 is Angel and Devil from Cuphead, the delicious last course DLC. Why fight one boss when you can fight two? There's an angel and a devil on your shoulder, and both of them want to kill you. This secret boss is unlocked by interacting with gravestones in a very particular order. And in the fight, you'll notice it's as gruelingly difficult as any other Cuphead boss, except you had to fight both personifications of the afterlife as they attempt to drag you kicking and screaming into their domain. Fun, huh? The boss is simple compared to a lot of the bosses from Cuphead, actually. There's really only one form, but that form is so challenging it's going to take plenty of tries to beat it. You'll battle in the palm of the claymation skeleton as both creatures keep attacking, swinging sides and swapping attacks unpredictably. It's one of the tougher boss fights in the game, and a nice little bonus for anyone willing to go the extra mile for the secret bonus boss. The puzzle's actually the real challenge here, and seeing as there's really nothing like this in the normal Cuphead island, we're impressed that anyone found these guys. And number 4 is Neo Spamton from Deltarune Chapter 2. While we're waiting for more Deltarune chapters to release, let's revisit this memorable new character from Chapter 2. Weird little internet salesman Spamton made a huge impression on players, and we'll be surprised if he doesn't appear more in the future, because he has a whole 2 boss fights in Chapter 2. If you're willing to search every corner of Cyberworld, you'll encounter Spamton again in a more elaborate boss fight with an even better music track. He's not as difficult as Sans, but he is a big problem for normal players. During this fight, he throws all your characters onto a roller coaster, and you'll unlock the ability to shoot with your heart. Instead of just dodging attacks, the boss becomes a literal bullet hell as you shoot back at Neo Spamton and aim for his constantly moving weak spot. The shooting mechanic adds an extra layer to an already advanced boss fight. It's the memorable music that makes us wish that we never found him, though. We had this boss theme stuck in our heads for weeks. At number 3 is Adamantoise, or Adamantoise, like tortoise, Adamantus, I don't know. One of the most evil bosses in video game history, literally the size of a mountain. It's not particularly hard. The post-game boss is definitely tough, but not like other secret bosses. The big problem here is just how long it takes to beat. It can take over an hour of grinding this boss's giant health pool down to defeat it, and that's if you don't simply give up after seeing how much damage you'll be dealing. The Adamantoise is an infamous giant turtle creature found in the Final Fantasy XV post-game, and it's supremely weird. It's not impressive like Gilgamesh or a fan-favorite monster. It's just a big dumb turtle. It takes forever to beat, and it feels like you're the butt of a joke. Of course, there's easier ways to beat it. If you don't look up tricks, you're trapped in final boss fight purgatory. Moving on to number 2, the Divine Beast Dancing Lion rematch in Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree. The most evil boss fight in Elden Ring isn't the final boss of the DLC. It isn't even really a boss. Located in the upper ruins of the Land of Shadow, there's a strange structure with the returning obnoxious boss fight. The Divine Beast Dancing Lion is an optional boss you find early, and it's a real test of patience. It unleashes multiple magic elemental attacks at the same time while prancing around and being too hard to hit. Well, now you get to fight one of the most obnoxious bosses in the game a second time out in the open fields, but this time he is red. If you fight the Divine Beast Dancing Lion for too long, you'll trigger an ambush of basilisks. A swarm of creatures will drop all around you in the middle of the arena and immediately unleash clouds of lingering death blight, which one of the most dangerous status effects in Elden Ring. The weird Dancing Lion boss fight also here spreads death blight, which kills the player instantly if the meter fills up. While this boss is much easier than the first encounter, the added death blight and all the basilisks flip the odds against you a bit. Now, this thing is not on its own much more difficult, but as a encounter, much more difficult to beat. You basically have a random chance whether you survive the initial ambush, and if you don't see it coming, you're dead instantly. This is another boss we couldn't let go. It's one of the most evil bosses in the series. At least if you die quick, and you can try again, but no. Nah. And finally, it's number 1, Galdera from Octopath Traveler 2, a game designed to tap into the optimization center of your video game brain. You're meant to combine abilities in the most broken ways until it feels like you're cheating. And when you think you're cheating has gone as far as it can go, you'll unlock a new job class and even more broken abilities. And you're going to need all those synergies because the secret boss that we're talking about here is one of the hardest things in video game history. Galdera is an evil god, sealed away in an ancient ruin and only accessible after about 100 hours or more of gameplay. You need to complete all 8 character storylines, then complete the final true ending before Galdera can be defeated, mostly because he's so overwhelmingly difficult. There's no reason to fight him until you're absolutely ready. even if you're leveled up your whole party to max, the fight is gonna be brutal. You need every trick in the book because you're using all 8 characters simultaneously, meaning you're juggling everybody's ability. It's a totally new mechanic, and you'll need to swap parties just to survive Galdera's various super abilities and status effect spells.
I'm just getting warmed up. Here's a little something for you.
This guy's just a huge pain in the butt to fight. Even the most experienced players are going to need specific strategies and builds to take him down. You're going to need to reconfigure your entire party just to fight him. And even after hours of painstaking work, it might not be enough to beat him. Galdera is the ultimate secret boss in modern video games. Square Enix brutalized us on this one. Some big bosses just aren't worth the damage to our psyches.
I summon Grant, the Thunder Blade.
Never doubted for a second.
That's all the secret bosses we wish we never found, at least for now. Let us know some of your least or most favorite secret bosses in the comments. We haven't fought every secret boss out there, and we're always looking for a new challenge. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications. And as always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter and book me on Cameo at Falcon the Hero. We'll see you next time right here on GameRanq.